It's an odd and important moment in a boy's life when he has to admit to family, friends, and local nosy priests that he loves to create dioramas. Yes, that's right, I was one of those guys. Showing up at the house with suspiciously full bags of tiny paintbrushes, hobby glue, miniature trees, and flock grass that got everywhere. And my favorite series of army men to pose on fake boulders made out of wine cork? Why, Warhammer 40,000, of course.
He likes the town, he paints toy soldiers, and he's gay. I am.
Well, 2 of the 3, anyway. Unless my devotion to the God Emperor makes me gay, in which case, fine. You'll be hearing from your local Inquisitor shortly, heretic. I used to play 40k with a real passion. However, the older I get, the less I find that I have time to paint my minis, let alone actually play. And I don't play with unpainted miniatures because I'm not a fucking savage. Fortunately, Games Workshop is always coming up with new and prolific ways for me to get my Space Marine fix. The most recent of which appears to be offering up the IP to any 2-bit games developer that asks. There's so many 40k games out there, and they're usually not very good. The Dawn of War series, however, has always been a pretty reliable one. The first one came out all the way back in 2004 with expansions and sequels, and it always stood out as a fairly representative slice of the Imperium. And I'm happy to report that Dawn of War 3 does a pretty great job of continuing the tradition of being the best computer game adaptation of the 40k universe that you can get your hands on. Dawn of War 3 was released in April of 2017 and continues to follow the Blood Ravens chapter of Space Marines as they purge, cleanse, and kill the Xenos and heretics who stand in the way of mankind's desire to turn the universe into a God Emperor theme park in the sky. You also have the chance to play Orks and Eldar throughout the single-player campaign and the multiplayer, and the storyline does a pretty good job of crossing the paths of these completely different races. The races themselves are part of what makes Dawn of War 3 such a strong contender. Each army has a different flavor and style, and while I preferred my Blessed Marines for multiplayer events, if I was tasked with playing one of the other 2, I could get myself around pretty easily. As a dyed-in-the-wool bug player, I'm hoping that Tyranids are an expansion that's coming out soon, hint hint, nudge nudge, soon as in yesterday or the day before. Okay, alright. Some people have said that the single-player campaign is really just more of the same when it comes to Dawn of War. And yeah. Honestly, that was one of my reasons for loving it. I love real-time strategy, and I love the over-the-top purple prose of the 40k universe. Combine the two, and I'm basically in heaven. Or seated on the golden throne, I don't know. Changes are made in the gameplay style, and when you get down to it, basically Dawn of War 3 is a combination of Dawn of War 1 and 2. Like the first Dawn of War, you find yourself in a real-time strategy, building up your base and creating an unstoppable army as the situation warrants. But like Dawn of War 2, there's also a heavy emphasis on individual characters and using their strengths to your advantage. In some ways, the new process resembles a MOBA with this new collection of heroes at your disposal, but I think it fits perfectly into the strategy genre as it stands. The game looks and sounds great, too. In addition to doing an amazing job of adapting models that totally exist in the real world to the digital one, Dawn of War 3 is filled with that grandiose soundtrack that you've come to expect from games set in the grim-dark future. And let's not leave out that winning 40k dialogue, which balances impossibly somewhere between sky-high melodrama and absurd slapstick.
Kaya is searching for a powerful weapon hidden on this world. I would rather you have it than him. If you were to seize the weapon, you would be the most powerful boss in this sector.
Impressive. Not a single lie.
Oh, what kind of weapon? Shooter? Chopper?
An ancient Eldar artifact. A spear. The Spear of Cain.
A super pointy stick? I want it!
So, if this is all just more of the same, why get so excited? Listen, there aren't enough real-time strategies out there. It's a genre kind of like the point and click that sometimes feels like its best days are behind it, and I find that unacceptable. There is very little that amounts to the satisfying feeling of building up your base and plotting the demise of your enemy. Of course, in my case, I often ended up plotting so much that I was taken completely off guard when an enemy pulled my spine out of my ass because he was, let's say, less inclined towards plotting, and more interested in actually winning the game. Ultimately, what it all comes down to is that Dawn of War is still the remaining franchise that has the strongest representation of the 40k universe when it comes to video games. For fans of real-time strategy and 40k, it's just enough of a change to give you something new to try, while also keeping all that perfect immersion that Dawn of War has always been good at. For people who hate 40k and real-time strategy, I don't know what to tell you. I honestly do not know what to tell you. Why are you watching this review? I mean, don't worry about it. I have reported you for heresy. So, that'll be fun. May the Emperor take mercy on you. He won't. It's not really a thing that he's known for doing. Dawn of War 3.
If Daddy don't sink a little drinky, Daddy gets sad and blue. Sneak a little drinky, sneakity-doo. Sneak a little drinky past you. Sneak a little drinky, sneakity-doo. Sneak a little drinky past you.